Hi guys, I'm Daddy Freeze, convener of the Free the Sheeple movement and leader of the Free Nation in Christ. I greet you and I bring glad tidings. Nigeria is in trouble. I cannot continue to pretend that everything is okay. I cannot continue to delude myself and say to myself that it is well when I know that it is not well. We are not at a stage. I disagree with your geos. Oh, there's nothing spiritually wrong with Nigeria. Nigeria is perfect spiritually. What is wrong with us is physical. I am intelligent enough not to blame this government of 1 year, more or less, on this trouble. Nigeria has been on a steady decline for the last 60 years. We've been on a steady gradient, a glide slope, leading us to one direction: more poverty, more insecurity. This government, in my opinion, took the right steps. The only problem is they do not have, or may I say, they didn't communicate with the youths in the right way. They didn't have the support of the youth, and they didn't take the youths along in the process. And I'll advise this government, I'm going to advise this government, if you can communicate better with the youths, let them understand what you're doing. Governance cannot be run with stubbornness. Right now, you've got to hear the cry of the people. I'm not saying what you did was wrong. The steps you took were the right steps, but were they communicated properly? Were the youths carried along properly? Any other government, I supported Omoyele Sowore, and I know a lot of youth supported Peter Obi. They probably will have had to do the same exact things that this government is doing. The only difference is they will have served as the anesthesia while this economic surgery is going on. The youths were more connected to people like Peter Obi. And what did they stand to gain from Peter Obi? They would believe that, oh, whatever he's doing it in our best interest. The suffering might not have been in any way better. The only thing I believe a younger leader like Omoyele Sowore or Peter Obi would have done is gain the confidence of Nigerians in diaspora. Now I'm not talking about the big companies. I am talking about the young man in Canada who's earning $100,000 a month, a year, I beg your pardon, and wants to bring that money to invest in Nigeria. The young nurse who's earning $70,000 a year in the United States of America, wanting to bring a chunk of her money to invest in the future of Nigeria. I'm talking about the billions of dollar revenue in the hands of young and average Nigerians in diaspora who don't love being in diaspora but want to come home. But come home to what? A younger leader like Omoyele Sowore or Peter Obi would have given them that confidence. That confidence, in my humble opinion, is what I see is lacking in this current government. I'm not saying they did anything wrong. I'm not saying the strategy is wrong. I am saying the youths need to have confidence. I am not one of the masses that is easily swayed by sentiments and emotions. The naira needed to be floated. Many of your banking leaders that you are celebrating as heroes are actually the ones that destroyed your economy, not the government. Well, the government gave them allowance and the government worked with them, but the real demons are those people in the banking sector that you are celebrating. I will not say more than that. You have a brain. The dollar is dead today because our leaders in the banking industry were round tripping the dollars they were getting from CBN at an easier rate. It's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. If you think I'm wrong, you can comment in the comment section. The reason why one of the reasons. Government was subsidizing the dollar to the banks. The banks were getting the dollar and selling to the black market and then making money, and people were not having access to foreign currency. I've been a victim before when personal travel allowance was given to people. At a point, we're giving $5,000 if you wanted to travel. At a point, they cut it down to $2,000. The last time Taste Buds and I missed our flight, we're trying to get our allocation of $2,000 at the government approved rate so we can have money to travel. And I filled the forms online. I applied. I literally went to the bank every single day. They were waiting for allocation, and then there was no allocation. And on the day we're traveling, we went to the bank and we had no allocation. We were heartbroken. We missed our flight. We're lucky enough to get another flight to the UK the next day, and we're hoping that we pay the money into our account because we both had dollar cards. So we're hoping that at least the money will come into our account. We're in the UK for 10 days, nothing came from the government. But your banking leaders got their allocations. Go and ask them what they did with it before you start celebrating them, those that are alive and those that have passed on. Start asking them the question. The reason why Nigeria is the way it is today is largely due to the errors or to the perpetrations of our banking leaders. The second reason why the dollar has no value today, the naira has little value. I called someone to change dollar yesterday. He gave me a rate of 1.6. By evening, 1.640. By evening was 1.680 in one day, over 3 hours. We are not exporting anything. We are not producing anything. Businesses are overtaxed in this country with very little sentiments. With very little government support. There's tax for everything. Where's the government support for the production industry? As long as a country is not producing to the outside world, earning foreign currency, strong hard currency, whether it's pounds from the UK or euros from Europe or dollars from Canada or the US, we will continue to see the decline in our currency because we're not selling anything and getting hard currency in return. That needs to be fixed by two sets of people, the government and the citizenry. Citizens, if you're working in Lagos right now and you're earning 50k a month, I think it is high time you went back to your village, got some land and started farming. There is a looming possibility of a famine in this country. There is not enough food to go around. From my understanding of the situation, here is my advice. My Igbo brothers and sisters building mansions in the village, using one mansion to compete against the next person who's building another mansion. I'm not saying it is wrong. But instead of building mansions, you need to build more factories, and the government needs to support you. The government needs to help you. The government needs to give you tax rebates, import discounts, whatever it is that the government needs to do. The government should do it so that your businesses can succeed. And by business, I mean businesses with export targets. Whatever you are building or producing should be exported. We import milk from France and Denmark. What do we sell if we cannot rely only on the fuel? Local car production, Innoson Motors. The government needs to support Innoson Motors in more ways than one. I have no problem with government buying luxury jeeps for the senators and the people in government. But can these luxury jeeps be Innoson Motor luxury jeeps? Can Innoson Motors be given a target to supply a certain amount of quality luxury jeeps that are on par with Toyota products? To make this achievable, he has to have import waivers, he has to have tax waivers, he has to be given the possibility to produce. So we cut our import for governance. A lot of people are coming in from Canada and the United States for cheaper, good quality treatment in Nigeria. Fertility treatment is seeing what I believe to be a medical tourism boost. Nigerian government, you need to look into the hospitals. You need to support the hospitals. Give them tax waivers, import waivers, help them get equipment, give them loans at 1-digit interest rates, so we can build the medical tourism business. You need to understand that India is relying on this format. Educational tourism is another thing. Our schools, especially the private schools, are good. We've got Afe Babalola University, Abuad. My mother is the vice chancellor. We've got Covenant University. We've got Babcock. These universities need to be given government support, tax waivers, whatever it is they need to be world standard universities, so that people from abroad can come for cheaper education back home, in such a way bringing money from abroad locally. Another thing the government needs to do is slap the churches with taxes. Religions need to be taxed. Religion, no more pilgrimage. Pilgrimage, oh yeah, you can go on pilgrimage, but they should actually pay a premium. Nigeria is too poor a nation to have such luxury investments in religion. It is what Paul Kagame did in Rwanda, and we saw the massive turnaround for the people. Nigeria needs to scrap religious pilgrimage subsidies. You want to go on pilgrimage, you need to have, it's not a requirement for national growth or nation building. You want to go on pilgrimage, you wear your cloth and go by yourself. And you should actually be charged extra duty, because religion is a luxury. It's not a necessity. You might dislike what I'm saying, but those are my thoughts. You might take them and you might drop them. Distribution of food. The great Chinese famine that happened between 1959 and 1961. Some scholars would attribute it to 1958 to 62, where between 15 million and 55 million Chinese people lost their lives. One of the lessons we need to learn from the Great Chinese Famine is distribution of food. Most of the people who lost their lives in that famine did so because there was inadequate distribution of food. The government needs to work with the food producing states, our northern states, our middle belt states. The government needs to help them. The government needs to subsidize them. We have some of the highest paid officials in government and some of the least paid farmers and doctors. The government needs to do that, and it is within the power of this government. I am not one of those people who are kicking against this government. I want this government to work. But this government needs to take the people along. They need a good bridge. Not this your nice, sweet talking people that come and talk at the people. They need people to talk to the people, work with the people, so the people can understand what the real issues is. God bless Nigeria. God bless our leaders, and God bless the people. And may what happened in China not happen to us. And it will not, if we take the necessary steps. God bless us all.